A very good morning to you. Welcome to another edition of Rise and Shine. Of course, midweek edition. It's a Wednesday, the 12th day of April 2022.
It's a beautiful day to be alive and a great opportunity to rise and shine wherever you are. My name is Uyai Anyeka, and thanks for joining us. Of course, we'd like to remind you to be a part of the conversation, be a part of the community. So like, share, comment across all our social media links, send us WhatsApp or text messages to make your contributions on the issues that will be raised on the floor of Rise and Shine. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, Janice.
Okay, so more like a follow-up conversation.
Yeah.
Follow-up conversations because we're on set this morning, of course, to talk about our country and some of the things happening in the country, and also educating people on, some of the things happening as well. But that there has been arrest of the Rivers State corps, that was assaulting a particular man in a viral video. We shared that video with us yesterday, where we saw a policeman harassing and assaulting an unknown man in River State, slapping and flogging him, and also another person, trying to force the man's wife inside or outside the car or something like that. And I know that Nigerians, that particular video trended, and Nigerians took it upon themselves to tag on arrest. Arrest has been made of the police people, and just like you said yesterday, it's not just the person that we saw flogging the man, but every other person on that team needs to be arrested as well, and that exactly is what has been done. So we see that the names of the police officers, all of them from River State, yes, they've been arrested. And I know also that Olumiwa Adejobi took to his Instagram page also to break the news to Nigerians, because he was one of those that were called upon to look into the matter on social media. He's also taken to his social media page and of course his Instagram page to make sure that he lets Nigerians know that this has happened. And I know the reactions also that's met with this particular announcement. Let's make sure that after the trial there are punitive measures given out, meted out on those people, so it serves as a deterrent to other police people. But the problem is we've seen a lot of times where the police steps in because of these kinds of videos that go viral on social media. They step in to arrest that particular situation, and they give punitive measures also being served as deterrents, but we see these things continue unabated.
It goes beyond just deterrent. Like I always continue. Of course, they know that there are punitive measures. I'm sure there's something in their rules and guidelines that says if you are caught in this kind of action, this is the punitive measure that you're going to get. So some of them, although they are aware of those guidelines, still go ahead to act in this manner. One would think, what's the extent of the provocation that a forced person will come under, and you just begin to manhandle another human being, especially when this person is a commuter on the road, possibly did not really do anything to irritate you. And there is this thing that comes with false people, the air of expecting people to rise and fall and bow because you're in uniforms. It doesn't really make any sense. Action by a police person, and then you're hearing, are you talking to me that way? Who are you exactly that you cannot be questioned? That certain steps and certain things you're doing on the scene cannot be questioned. What did I do? Like that man was asking, and he's getting a slap across his face. So I think it goes beyond just, there are punitive measures on ground. There's something, but it just, because this is absolutely uncalled for. We are, it's a good step in the right direction. They have been arrested, and like I earlier said, it's important that the team is brought to book and checked also, and it's good to see that this has been done. But to what extent does this have an impact on the rest of the people that continue to be on the road? Now, that is something that the police force need to check they themselves and try to achieve. It's becoming incessant. It's part of the reasons why we had the likes of the NSAS, but it has...
Trial has commenced, and at the end of it, of course, we'll hear what the police will do obviously they have also told Nigerians that they will keep us updated with what is going to be happening. But yeah, very quickly now, let's even look at I don't know, something is happening in Uyo, Akwa Ibom State, especially in Ikono local government area. Issues, you know, I know that it fell here in Ibiakuran on Sunday, but I hear it fell really hard. You know, it
On
came down
Saturday.
on torrents on Saturday. And for some people, yes, it's a welcome development, especially for farmers. And then a lot of us would say that, oh, it gave us a very cold weather to sleep in and all of that. But the people of Ikono are coming under serious attack as a result of that particular rain. And there's the story about tornado. I don't know if you've heard it. I heard it yesterday, and like, oh, there's a tornado. It rain hard on the people of Ikono local government area. I think that is where the whole tornado, you know, issues coming from, stories coming from. There was serious whirlwind. We saw that even in Ibiakuran here. But it also, I think we had a report on, you know, the rainy season where we actually advising people if your area is prone to, you know, flooding issues, why not look for alternatives like clearing the bushes around affected by this, yes, by this rain
I
of
think the
Saturday.
topography of certain areas affects the impact that the rain has on them. And if you remember quite well, the meteorological agency has said flooding is going to be worse this year.
Yeah.
Of course, last year we lost a lot of people, property and things to the floods, but this year it's expected to, you know, be worse off than last year. And the question remains, you know, what steps have the federal government, have the state government, you know, put in place for these kinds of you know, impact from the rains, as it were. We're going Konokwan in Uyo local government.
Yes,
I'm sure that's something we'd have to look at and see the impact, you know, of the rain. But it's a rather sad situation, and we just hope that the people that have been affected by the rains there can find some respite. We saw, you know, a lot of roofs being torn off because of the torrent of the wind, but
a lot of trees falling too.
Oh, and that's usually really dangerous, you know, if you get and trap people in the process. But this is a time that we do what you can to make sure that when the rains come, the water can find a pathway to flow and not take you up in the process. But the rains have come and we need to be ready. But moving up to you know, big stories happening around Nigeria.
Of course, our major stories for the morning.
Major stories. I think it was a couple of weeks ago, just after the general elections, that we had Senator Dino Melaye indicate his interest to run as governor.
An off-cycle, yes, off-season elections. I think basically 11th of November is when that election has been fixed for. But that's not the gist.
Absolutely not the gist, but you know, you have to go back to the background.
As part of the gist, actually.
People have to know that Dino Melaye, Senator Dino Melaye, is actually, which he is a member of Nyesom Wike, Governor Nyesom Wike of Rivers State, has come with a big laugh, you know, at Senator Dino Melaye's Kogi governorship ambition. Now he says the People's Democratic Party chieftain does not have what it takes to vie for such a position. The governor was speaking during a media chat with selected journalists in Port Harcourt on Tuesday, of course, the 11th of April. He said, when you give Dino that ticket, you know he won't win in maintained. He knows me very well. He does not have what it takes to be a governor. Now, according to Wike, if the PDP gives the ticket to the former Kogi West lawmaker, the party is doomed to lose the exercise. Does it mean now that if the PDP wants to win the election, it will give the ticket to Dino, and you say tomorrow that you were rigged when you have already killed yourself? He wondered. Now he continues to raise more questions. If the party gives its governorship ticket to Senator Dino, he now, you know, further questions. Do you need to ask me that kind of question, the main opposition party, if Dino wins the ticket? Okay. Several accusations here. He accused the party leadership of trying to manipulate the process in favor of Dino. Why are you trying to manipulate this in favor from a psychotic disorder? We know Dino Melaye for, you know, these kinds of energy. But this particular response, there is a video for it. Let's take that video and then we'll get right into the conversation of this Okay, the video will be coming up shortly. But this is Dino Melaye's response
Yeah,
to.
he's contested before in 2019, and anyways, Senator Wike is trying to say that Dino Melaye does not have, the capacity to run for that particular, some kind of rift even in the People's Democratic Party. One would ask at this point in time, Wike is wrapping up, his administration as governor of Rivers
River State.
State. We know that he's still a very strong CEO. You has been suspended. What is, the gains of the G5 governors? And he kept talking about the integrity thing. But him coming out to say that Dino Melaye does not have the capacity to do that, I think that was a little bit too strong on the part of as we speak, because a lot of chieftains in Kogi are saying that and accusing, the People's Democratic Party presidential candidate Alhaji Atiku Abubakar of trying to manipulate the process and installing, Dino Melaye as governor of Kogi State on the 11th of November 2023, which is when the off-season elections will be holding. The states having off-season elections this period. But again, what is Wike trying to achieve in all of this? This is more like another, array of rifts springing up right now, because we know Dino Melaye has been a very vocal person. He will always lash back, and all of that. Of course, he has already saying that Wike has some kind of cycle problems and issues. And of course, you don't expect Dino to come out and say that Wike has cycle issues and you expect Wike. Beyond all of the things that is happening, the People's Democratic Party seems to be having a lot of issues recently. And just like we were talking about the other day, very soon we'll be seeing the People's Democratic Party fade off gradually. We will not even have the People's Democratic Party as the major opposition anymore in the People's Democratic Party, because whether we like it or not, the G5 coming off the People's Democratic Party and also not being involved in the presidential elections in support of the presidential candidate has turned that party to a large extent. And so I don't know how it's going to look like at this point in time, how they are going to sit down and put their house together again to make sure that they are the main opposition party and they can, in the next 4 years, when we have another round of election, even produce the next president. It's really going to be tough for the People's Democratic Party. We've not heard the last of IU as the former national chairman, the suspended national chairman of the People's Democratic Party. We've not had the last of it yet, because that fight and crisis is still ongoing. And now and again, we are having a situation where there are allegations, so why try to foist? Why not leave it open so that everybody has a level playing field? Everybody goes to the field. Let the people of Kogi State choose who they want. But as for Wike coming out to say that Dino Melaye does not have the capacity to do so, anyways, he knows Dino Melaye more than we'd be too much on the part of Wike to say that Dino Melaye does not have the capacity. Dino Melaye has been in the House, in the Senate for, I think, 8 years running now or so. So he has built his own leadership, principles and all of that. But can he lead the people of Kogi State is the big question on everybody's lips. And I think that they should take off, that influence or interference in the choice of the people and give the people the opportunity to choose who wants to lead them and not force anybody on them.
This is a very big question when you're, putting capacity. Northwest side of Kogi, what has these investment and returns been to the people of the state that makes it viable for him to even want to run as governor of the state? These are precedents that, should be looked into. I know some of the arguments we also have in the polity is that some statements made by some elder statements carry a lot of impact in the race of certain presidents. What has he done, in all these years of being a senator? Do you want that kind of person to be saddled with the responsibility of being governor over the state? coming back to the wranglings that is happening in Kogi State
Yeah.
and the People's Democratic Party, like you said, to a very large extent, the party might not be surviving for so long. But the only other thing with PDP is that although they usually would have a lot of infighting, they always find a way to revamp themselves and just stand. Maybe that had been possible also because we did not. We might actually be seeing the People's Democratic Party being relegated to the third place. But
Again, yeah, just quickly now, would we also say that, VK coming out to say that Dino Melaye does not have the capacity? It is because they seem to feel that, Dino Melaye is
about the Guba race in
Yes.
Kogi State. What's the guarantee that he doesn't have who he wants to become the governor of Kogi State under the People's Democratic Party? It might also just be a matter of difference in interest at this time.
Exactly.
It might not be a big question on Dino Melaye's capability. If there is another candidate who is also a member of the People's Democratic Party who is, possibly more loyal to Nyesom Wike. Nyesom Wike will look for words to say to make his candidate better, especially when we are looking at the fact that Dino Melaye is a direct. Nyesom Wike is the leader of the G5, a faction of
Democratic
the
Party.
People's Democratic Party, who also have subordinates that are loyal to them. So imagine that a subordinate or a party member in the People's Democratic Party is loyal to the G5 and wants the Guba seat also, and there is someone on the other side of PDP who is not faithful to the G5. You're also going to have these kinds of media parleys and these kinds of statements at the end of the day.
Yeah.
But like we've said, we've continued to say in the doors. Now, another problem I have is the audacity of cross-carpeting, like the influence that you're having from Rivers to Kogi elections. We are not even saying a national election at this time. It is an election of a state. It's just like you saying, okay, Sanwo-Olu's decision in the APC is going to decide whether an APC candidate from another state can become
his influence in Lagos State can
Yes.
actually cross carpet to maybe like
that in a couple of weeks to come he's going to be handing over that seat to another person, but yet he's wielding a lot of attempting to wield a lot of political influence in the gubernatorial race of another state. I mean,
but again, you ask the question, how is that even possible? Will the people of I know that there was something that happened in Cross River State at the time that we wanted to have the gubernatorial elections, in Cross River State. There was the Sandy Ono from People's Democratic Party, and there was also Prince Basio too, and wins and all of that. And there was the the relaxation of the fact that there's a Wike somewhere
Wike
who
behind
has
us.
wielded a lot of influence, and people kept saying it. Come on, Wike is only governor in River State and not governor of Cross River
Exactly.
State, and
Exactly.
Wike cannot, to a large extent, influence what happens in the People's Democratic Party of Cross River State, or even in the affairs generally of Cross River State. So I think that there has to be a line drawn to these things.
Yeah.
Yes, they are the major stakeholders of the People's Democratic Party. What they come together collectively to decide of their party, has some kind of influence across board. But when it comes to directly having influence on who to choose, you want to be the one to choose when the people are saying, no, this is who we want. I think it's a problem.
Yeah, and another thing at this time was just to feel the impulse of the people of Kogi to know who exactly they want.
Exactly. Do they want a Dino? If
Exactly.
people are saying we want Dino as our governor, then why not give him Dino? Why not give them Dino?
Exactly.
But I think the footage of Dino reacting to the comments by Governor of River State, Nyesom Wike, is ready. So we quickly take that reaction and hear what he has to say.
Qualified is having some problem upstairs because you cannot fund a project few years ago to the extent that your money, your material resources, everything, it was calling me on the day of the primary, what is happening? Have we made it? Have we not made it? So the same champion you saw some few years ago, it's your intellectual stagnancy. You now say that the same person you sponsored some years ago today is no longer qualified to be governor. I am more qualified to be governor than Nyesom Wike. To the glory of God, I have 9 university degrees. I have been a member of the House of Representatives. I have been 2019. Wike was my biggest supporter financially and even otherwise. Apart from funding me to the tune of hundreds of dollars in the last governorship election in 2019, he provided his private jet from Port Harcourt on the day of the primary. That's to show the level, magnitude, and intensity of his support and belief in me in 2019. So the man who saw competence, who saw capacity, and even invested his money in, the only explanation to that is mental fatigue. The only explanation to that is that he's having some problem upstairs, because you cannot fund a project few years ago to the extent that your money, your material resources, everything, it was calling me on the day of the primary to work in alliance with your myopic agenda. Because I have refused to corroborate your intellectual stagnancy, you now say that the same person you sponsored some years ago today is no longer qualified to be governor. I am more qualified to be governor than Nyesom Wike. To the glory of God.
It's just the race, or for who they wanted, because like Dino is saying, this particular person you believed in some years ago, you even invested
in 2019 when he wanted to contest.
What made you, so how come he suddenly becomes unfit? Okay, some people might have an argument that Dino has changed over the years. How much so has he changed?
Or more like, for me, I just think that, okay, so for Wike, the political atmosphere is different from 2019 as to it is in 2023 and all of that. So maybe, and then well, we would say that in Nigerian politics, this is what plays out.
No permanent friends, no permanent enemies.
foes. 1 minute you're for whatever reason, that made Governor Nyesom Wike support the gubernatorial ambition of Senator Dino Melaye, was that Dino represented his interest at the point.
Exactly.
But right now, as we speak, I do not think that Governor Nyesom Wike thinks that Dino Melaye supports his, interest in any way, political interest, and so he also has. That's the point I want to make.
You can take your money, invest in another place without verbally,
saying that he lacks capacity.
Disregarding him before the people. It doesn't really make sense. You don't hold the life, of anyone because of the investments that you made in them in a particular season. That he does not currently represent your political beliefs and aspiration also as a party stalwart. Move on and don't verbally
attack.
Yes, attack or bring him down before the people he wants to serve. It just further, here the party, apart from national levels, take it down now to PDP in Kogi. You can imagine that there are two people that are running, that want to run under the umbrella of the People's Democratic Party, and now they have to choose, between a Nyesom Wike's favorite and someone else that is on the opposite rank.
Nyesom Wike has not said he has a favorite, but he's saying that, look,
in another party.
Exactly.
Remember, he has shocked us in this
the presidential elections.
So it might not even be just a Dino Melaye issue in the People's Democratic Party. It might be that he has found another faithful in another party, and maybe Dino Melaye is a strong contender and you're looking for how to verbally take him out of the race. But it's a mix of different suspicions.
The comments by Governor Nyesom Wike of Rivers State, to that particular regard, we would definitely open up the phone lines for Nigerians to do that when the time comes, and that will be during our newspaper segment, so Nigerians can just add their voices to that conversation. But at this point, we just take a very short few details or headlines on our national dailies, and of course we'll have a lot of reports bringing your way this morning as well. But let's just take a breather. We'll be back shortly.
The rainy season is a period where most regions in the world experience average annual rainfall. Nigeria is characterized by three distinct climate zones: a tropical monsoon climate in the south, a tropical savanna climate for Nigeria. The rainy season features light rainfall in March and heavy as well as abundant rain in June and July, with annual rainfall amounts usually above 2,000 mm and can reach 4,000 mm and more in the Niger Delta. Meanwhile, a brief break season begins in mid-May and ends in September.
Do you have your umbrella or raincoat, rubber shoe, sweater, and blanket ready for the rainy season? Let's find out Nigerians' readiness on the rainy season. I have umbrella, I have shower cap, I have raincoat. I'm prepared for the rain. This rainy season, I'm prepared for it. I have umbrella. I always got my umbrella in case the rain meets me where I'm going to. And I also make sure that whatever I'm putting on is something that I know that can prevent me from cold regarding my condition. For women that will damage their in fact everything they are holding, it will damage it for them. So I think they should carry their umbrella along. Then for the men also, it's the same thing. You can't go out without umbrella now. When the rain it's heavy, you can't go out without umbrella. So I think we should go. It's good to carry your umbrella along. If you don't have umbrella, just make sure that one thing, I don't like people entering the rain when it's falling. So no matter how heavy it is, no matter where you are going to, no matter you are rushing.
With the dry season comes the harvest. It is the most ideal time for farmers to plant their crops because the soil is very moist and is able to retain more water. During this season, farmers tend to focus on growing their root crops such as yams, cassava, potatoes, maize, groundnut, millet, and rice. They also grow a variety of vegetables and tropical fruits such as mangoes and coconuts. However, farmers expect lower crop yields during the wet season due to the abundance of rainfall and low soil quality. They also expect greater amount of insects such as mosquitoes and
government, Secretary General, delegates.
A very good morning to you and welcome to your morning news briefing Spectrum live from Uyo. I am Mary Joseph. We begin this morning news brief with the National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, has said that it has received 104 stranded Nigerians from Ndajema, Chad Republic of the Malam Aminu Kano International Airport, Kano State. The Kano Territorial Office of the agency coordinator Nuruddin Abdullahi stated this while receiving the returnees yesterday in the state. Reports say that the returnees arrived at the airport at about 2:15 p.m., noting that the returnees comprises of 34 males, 18 females, and 52 children. On electoral matters, the Independent Federal Constituency for Saturday, 15th April 2023. The Rivers State Resident Electoral Commissioner Johnson Nikeme, who disclosed this in a statement, called on all political parties and residents of the area carriageway at Mechanic Village and the Federal Secretariat in Uyo, capital city, will be closed to traffic from Wednesday, 12th April 2023 to Friday, 14th April 2023 to facilitate the timely completion of works and allow for the smooth and hitch-free construction works. The State Commissioner for Works, Professor Enoiba, who made the announcement in a release, said in line with the completion agenda of Governor Udomi Manuel, a charitable foundation named after former Canadian Prime Minister Pierre Elliott has abruptly resigned over scrutiny of a donation with alleged ties to Beijing. The sudden resignation comes as Canada grapples with allegations of election meddling by Beijing. The charity, a scholarship organization created to fund doctoral researchers, was founded over 2 decades ago in memory of former Prime Minister Pierre Elliott's Justin Trudeau father. Eli Hallen inevitably was on target with his 45th goal of the season to make him the highest scorer in all competitions in a single campaign since the Premier League began 30 years ago. We'll have details of these stories and more in our news at 12. I am Mary Joseph. Let's head back to Rise on Channel.
General, voting for Spectrum TV to recover 45 seats.
One truth not often told is about the transformation that Africa has undergone in recent decades. Africa is shaping the African continent. Join Uyai Anyekan every Tuesday and Thursdays at 4:30 p.m. Spotlight Africa, telling the African story. One truth not often told is about the transformation.
The Nigerian police, which is the only one allowed by Constitution, our governors have to share police powers with the president as stipulated by the Constitution. We do not have a federal government police force. We have the Nigeria Police Force, which shall be administered, organized, and supervised by the Nigerian Police Force.
No, my lord, I want to say something. I want to say something here. Perhaps who are those people who could be said to be the beneficiaries of the death of our brother?
Rogers has linked you with some of the killings he did.
He never did.
He linked you with the attempted murder of Hebrew.
He did not.
My lord, the Matters Council is leading the evidence in our matters.
Is this an adversary proceeding?
It's not, my lord, but we can't be talking about cases which are in court.
Is this an adversary proceeding?
It's not, my lord. This case
and questions we face as citizens of this amazing country, Nigeria. Legally speaking, join us every Friday from 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. for Legally Speaking.
The Nigerian police,